New at noon, Springfield Police on Saturday morning seized an illegal firearm and arrested 28-year-old Christian Ayala-Pellot on the 300 block of Orange Street in connection with a shooting. The arrest stemmed from officers hearing gunshots in the area of Allen and Alberta Street. Officers eventually found Ayala-Pellot on a scooter in a parking lot, and when he saw police presence, he attempted to speed away by running a red light when he was struck by a vehicle legally proceeding through the intersection. Officers recovered a loaded firearm and 4 bags of heroin, and he's been charged with a slew of gun-related charges, including carrying a firearm without a license, carrying a loaded large-capacity firearm on a public way, discharging a firearm within 500 feet of a building, and several others.